Hello, welcome back to Suburban Hunt 365. I am DJ, and we are going to go over the results from the pellets with these particular 6 projectiles that we have before moving into the loose powders. Because I know there's a lot of you out there that are going to want to stick with the pellets just because it's easier to load. And we'll get into more of that later with the loose powders and stuff. But the idea is that they're easier to load. So anyway, ironically, what happened was the best and the worst average for the actual propellant ended up being the same powder. So the 777 50-50 50 grain pellets both came in first and came in last. So the 100 grains, so 2 pellets, 100 grains of the 777 50-50s 50 grain pellets, average with these 6 projectiles came in at 3 and 13/20 of an inch. Okay, that was the average across all 6, or all the groups between each 6 and one of these. And that was the worst. Followed very closely by 100 grains of the Pyrodex. The Pyrodex just right behind it, with a 3 and 13/48 of an inch average between these 6, obviously. So, but the winner of this is also the 777 50-50s, and ironically, it's the 150 grain charge that won the whole thing. So, with the 777 50-50 50 grain pellets, on average, between these 6, they came in at 1 2/3 inch. Was the average group between all 6 of these projectiles using 150 grains of the 777 50-50 pellets. So that, I mean, we've been using that for a long time now. So that's, I kind of enjoyed seeing that. Now again, this is all subjected to my muzzleloader. All right, I got the CVA Ultima V2, right? So Optima. I said that wrong last time too. You guys called me on it, so I appreciate you. But anyway, so followed, you had the 777s that ended up winning it with the 150 grain charge. That was followed directly with the White Hots 150 grain charge, right? And then just below that, we have the Firestar 3 pellets. So the 3 pellets over here is in 3rd place. Okay, so with that, you can kind of figure out what you want to do with it, because all 3 of those, the top 3, are 3 pellets. As you guys saw last week, the 777s with the 4 pellets, really, from my particular muzzleloader, didn't like it at all. So again, get you some range time in. I know there's guys out there that love each one of these by themselves, and a lot of guys have been telling me to get away from these power belts. They don't mind me using the Federal and the Hornady's, but they just, a lot of parallel belt guys are just out there like, these things suck, they don't expand, get away from them. But just to remind you guys, when we first started this out, all I did was go to Walmart, and I went to Academy Sports, and I picked up what was readily available, because the whole idea is for us to be able to, I want to go hunting tomorrow, let me get my gun ready today. What do I do? Right? During muzzleloader season, you should be able to find this stuff pretty regularly. Now, I'm going to tell you, your primers are getting hard to find right now. So if you find primers, hold on to them bad boys. They're getting hard to find. But anyway, as you can see from the list, I'm going to go ahead and put this list up for you. As I said a minute ago, the 777's 150 grain came out first, followed by the White Hot 150 grain, and then 3rd place is the 777 Firestars with 3 pellets. And then that's when the Pyrodex came in at the 150 grains. So it's kind of interesting that 3 out of the top 4 are the 150 grain charges, with the exception of the 777 Firestars. So you can take that as you will. You know, now when you start looking at price points, the Firestars are way more expensive than the 777s, and the White Hots, they're actually pretty close. They come with 72 pellets in their box, as opposed to the Firestars come with 60. Just depends on what kind of sale you can find them at, as to whether you get a good deal or not. So going from the Pyrodex in number 4, the 5th one is White Hots with 100 grains. then the triple Firestar, or 777 Firestar 4 pellets, and then the Pyrodex 100 grain was in 7th, and the last was the 777 50/50 pellets in the 100 grain. So honestly, I've always enjoyed using 777, the 50/50 ones. So there's a good chance that I'm just going to hold on to those and just start using the 150 grains. Now you start getting into the cleanliness of the shot. Obviously the older 777s, they're a little bit more dirty on your muzzleloader, and so you get to the white hots. The white hots came in 2nd place with the 150 grain load, and I don't remember if you can remember the consistency video, but the white hots actually won the consistency, which explains why it came in so close. So honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to using the 777s or the white hots. The white hots were easier to clean up. They still gave you a little bit of that crud ring on the bottom of the muzzleloader, but it was a lot easier to clean up. So really, if I had to choose between any one of these propellants right now, these are the two that I'm actually going to go with: the 777 50/50s and the white hots. The 7s are just too expensive for me to try to run consistently, and even when they did, they came in 3rd. So why would I not pick up the 2 that came in, you know, 1st and 2nd, right? Especially with the price point. The 777s, you can't beat those guys. You really can't. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull away from this. So now that we know what powders we want, now we got to look at, okay, well, which one of these projectiles did the best across all of the different propellants. And what happened to run the first is the Powerbelt 330 grain ELRs. They did really good across them all, and they actually ended up with an average group size of 2 1/5 of an inch is what the size came in on this guy. So, and that's across all these different propellants. Then next was the 290 grain Hornady bore drivers, which is awesome because that means I have a Powerbelt and a Hornady that I can really use to compare next year or this coming fall to see how they do on deer themselves. And the Hornadys ended up coming in at 2 2/7 of an inch across all the different projectiles. Alright, and then basically after that, the 295 grain Powerbelts, the 250 grain Powerbelt Aerolites, the 245 grain Coppers by Powerbelt, and the last, dead last, was the Federal Borelock at 270 grains. I was kind of shocked to see that, to be honest with you, because before we started this, I had actually shot a deer with this particular round with the 150 grains of the 777s, and it made a mess. I mean, that deer didn't go 20-30 yards. Very good wound trail. Looked like somebody punched a hole in the bottom of a paint can, just walked right over the deer. And actually with that, the best group that this had was with the white hots, with 1 7/8 group. But then the 777 150 grain actually came in at 2 1/4 inches. So again, even though this is the worst, depending on what pellet you did, on average, okay, and this is across all the different propellants. So on an average, this one didn't fare that well. But 2 1/4 inch group with the 150, or sorry, that's with the 777s, with the best one that we had on average. But the white hots actually did better. So this, with the 150 grains of white hot, actually did a 1 7/8 group. So that's not terrible. It's definitely not something you could shake a stick at. You could definitely go hunting with that. So just because on average this one didn't do as well as the rest, it really is up to what the user wants to do with it. And it also has to do with the muzzleloader itself, because like I told you, there are plenty of guys out there that made comments on the channel saying that they love it, their gun uses it, it's great. Well, my rifle is going to be different than your rifle. It's just the way it is, and it will always be. So just because these came in last does not mean that they don't make a dang good product. And again, all the Powerbelts across here have that stigma hanging over of several hunters saying that they have an expansion issue, which means that now we're going to have issues finding the deer. Now the caveat to that is shot placement, of course, and that's why I did the accuracy challenges, because shot placement, for me to claim that shot placement is the most important thing, you got to have accurate rounds with that. You can't be shooting 4 or 5 inch groups and say, well, I shot him dead in the shoulder. Well, you don't know that if you're shooting a 5 or 6 inch group, right? So I'm gonna get off my soapbox here, guys. So at the end of the day, 777, 50-50, 50 grain pellets, the OG as far as I'm concerned, and the white hots came in as a top 2 with the 150 grains. So using 150 grains with these two, knock the other ones out of the park. And then the best 2 on average between these is the Power Belt ELRs with 330 grain and the 290 grain. Now the other thing you'll notice is that these are almost exactly in order: 330 grain, 290 grain, 295 grain. So this is the only one that really flips it around. So 295, 250, 245, and then of course the Federals here at the end. So it's almost in line of the heavier the projectile, the better my rifle likes it, the better my muzzleloader likes it. So that is just food for me to use, a little notch in my belt, to, you know, something to put in my toolbox, if you will. You may notice that for your own, but the best way for you to get this, and I'm not saying you got to go spend as much money as I have, but we have shot a lot of black powder across these just to bring this to you, to get an idea of what works best for me. And I've heard from other people that this is kind of seeing similar things, I do understand that the cleanliness of the powders matters, but at the end of the day, if you can clean your gun, because even if you're using the old school 777s, if you clean your rifle properly, it's not going to give you any problems. But if you're one of those that's worried about that, then go over the white hots. They were right on the tail end of these. Now of course this is average. There's plenty of times, especially in the consistency, where this one won. So there's a lot of things to consider when you go through there. And I'm going to leave the entire graph that I have up here on the screen, and you can pause this and you can look at it and you can see what I went through, what I saw, what I did, and then maybe use that, you know, look into it, see what you think. But at the end of the day, you won't know what your rifle does until you get to the range. So guys, I just want you to know that I appreciate you, especially if you stuck out with us this far. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, really help this channel out. Comment down below, let me know what you think. You got different combos that you like to use, different projectiles, different powders, whatever the case may be, let me know, because I would love to try it. Because all we're going to do as a community is make ourselves better, right? Exactly. So again, not all rifles shoot well, but there is usually a consensus between all the different shooters, kind of like how Power Belt's got its stigma. But anyway, guys, hit that notification bell so that way the next time this video pops up, you guys get notified from it. And until next time, I'm DJ with Suburban Hunt 365. We'll see you on the next one.